chairman of the panel, usually I like to keep things free-flowing. So I'll just get them to introduce themselves, a quick introduction again to in case I introduce them wrongly, just to introduce themselves, and then we hopefully get some questions from the floor going. All right, maybe Nam, you want to start first?
Okay. Good morning. My name is Nam Thanathorn Karnisakon. You can call me Nam. I am 28 years old. I come from AA Thailand. And I changed myself from the typical agent to be financial advisor. So I use financial planning to meet my customer by social media. For example, my Facebook fan page, Nam Finance, NAMFINANCE, Nam Finance, and I have around 10,000 followers, and I have a YouTube channel called Well Me Up channel, and my YouTube channel is called Pong Pong. Pong Pong in Thai is mean money expand, and have around 80,000 followers, and I almost reached 100 episodes in the YouTube channel, and I have a IG and have a hashtag Now Finance also. It's more than 100 hashtag in IG is Now Finance also. And I have a cartoon character with my drawing. I draw the golden coin. Golden coin is mean น้องเหรียญ น้องเหรียญ is mean legal money. And I drawing the cartoon with the financial knowledge and bring it on to my customer. And also I have a sticker line with the น้องเหรียญ legal money, so everyone can download and buy it. Okay, and also use the online, be the offline also. I have the notebook, and I give them to my customer every time when I give them with the insurance policy. And I have the bag, I have the glasses, I have everything about the little money. Yeah.
Can open a shop to sell the merchandise, right? Yeah. But I think the important point to note is I think it's not just everything online.
Yeah.
There's also the offline element, right? So a lot of times when we think, like just now Andrew mentioned as well, when we think about digital transformation, we think about digital technology. A lot of people think it's just technology, but that's not true. Karthik mentioned that as well. So a lot of times it's still that relationship and that face-to-face with people. Yeah. So maybe can I invite Jiala to share a bit more as well?
Morning, everyone. My name is Kalok. You can call me Jiala. I'm better known as Jiala because Jiala Financial Planning. Jiala is my Chinese name. In Chinese, it stands for Happy Family. Jiala, Happy Family. And I've been in the industry since 2012, so about 7 years now. And I think somewhere in my third year, I decided to go digital and go full force on social media to do my sales because at that point in time, for us agents, prospecting is always an issue. And I got sick and tired of always looking for ways to prospect clients, always getting into prospecting issues. So I thought I should go into social media. And since then, my leads and my referrals and my business has been powered 100% by social media. Yeah, so that's a short introduction about me. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And of course, next we have Kelvin. Kelvin, can you share a bit more about what you're doing as well?
Sure. Thanks, Ben. So, good morning, everyone. Right. So, I joined this business 10 years ago in 2008. In fact, on the last day of 2008 itself. All right. So, I started my digital journey for the team in 2014. In fact, my chief trainer was Mr. Andrew Chow. All right. So our company at that point in time, shall we give Mr. Andrew a round of applause? Right. So at that point in time, our company invited him to share on LinkedIn. Right. My main motivation at that point in time is I was the only recruiting manager at that point in time. So I wanted a system which allows me to recruit 24/7. Right. Even when I'm sleeping. Right. So to be able to do it passively. Right. So now with 13,000 followers, it actually helps us a lot in terms of recruitment. Right. And being an agency leader, we also do quite a fair bit of lead generation. For us, this generation in Singapore, we do it via Facebook. Right. So we have a Facebook page called Shiok Retirement. So if you are Singaporean or you're Malaysian, you know what Shiok means. All right. So basically, Shiok Retirement means to have a happy retirement itself. So we did that basically to help our agency force to do leads generation. So two main channels which I use are mainly for recruitment is for using LinkedIn. Sales is using Facebook itself. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So like I mentioned, I think for this to be maximum value for you guys, if there are any questions from the floor, you have any specific questions in mind, I think this will be a great chance for you to ask some of these people who are successfully doing it. Because I believe now it's not the stage where we have to say, oh, social media is very important, why people should be on social media, right? Everybody knows social media is important. But I think the problem holding some people back is how do I actually go about doing it? So this is a good platform. If any one of you have questions, please raise your hands. My colleagues will get the mic around. Anybody? All too shy, is it? Okay. Let me start the discussion then. Okay. So I think when I speak with a lot of agents, one of the issues is always, oh, I don't dare to do because, I'm not sure about the compliance with company, right? I mean, some of you executives here as well, oh, if you're doing social media, how do I make sure that they're compliant? So I think one of the issues for agents is, compliance with company and also regulations. So maybe the three of you, how do you overcome that inertia to make sure that you are compliant, or what was that kind of company supports that you had when you first started social media? Yeah.
Probably I'll start first, right? So so it belongs to Access Singapore. So in fact, I think Ben is right. A lot of companies are still quite unsure in terms of how to regulate the social media contents in order to make sure it's compliance. Especially in Singapore, with our monetary authority of Singapore, they are very strict about what we say on social media itself. So what the company does is that they actually issue do's and don'ts in terms of what to do or what not to do. But in fact, it's very difficult to regulate because there's thousands and millions of things on social media, all right? It's very difficult to say exactly what I can do and what I cannot do. So our company has a very clever way, all right? So they let us sign an indemnity form, all right, saying that, you can do anything you want, basically, all right? But if, something is wrong, all right, then you got to be responsible, all right? But of course, they give a guidelines, right, in terms of what can be done and what cannot be done. And in fact, companies today, especially for agency force itself, most of them are still unsure of exactly what can be done and what cannot be done, all right? Because again, it's not easy to have a black and white, especially when talking about social media branding and social media marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can build on it. Yeah, I totally agree. As advisors, I think what we need is guidelines from companies, what we can do and what we can't. A few great guidelines would be, for example, you say, you can't name companies. All right, I think that's the most basic respect for other companies as well. All right, and when you share your content, you don't share product based content. All right, not specific products because you're not there to sell. Right, you should share concepts. All right, money concepts. Because money concepts are pretty general, right? Yeah, you can share money concepts with the public, right? And I think that is what company is very okay about it. And I think last but not least is that when you portray yourself online, you should portray yourself always as professional, right? And not putting personal or grudges or putting your personal, issues up online, right? Keep it very neutral, right? Not naming, not shaming people, individuals. You keep it just pure concepts, and which you can find in any books in a bookstore. You can find on Google, right? You don't need to create content. You can recreate content that is already available online. So I think baseline is the guidelines that a company has given, and we just, so long we adhere to that, I think that should do. Yeah.
I come from AA Thailand. AA Thailand have very strong regulation in the online. They cannot use like the AA logo, or you can just share about the AA product from the AA official fan page only. And for my opinion, I can just post it like my understand about the product and post it on the Facebook on the online. And for the AA regulation, will like observe every Facebook from the agent user and will sum up how many people cannot use like the true regulation for the AA. And for my concept, it's just share about the knowledge, share about the money, financial concept. That's all. It's not the pretty normal.
So I think a sensible approach is needed, right? I mean, you can't tell your agents don't be on social media, then you are driving them out of business. So I think having some guidelines where they know what to do or they know what not to do is important. And I think a lot of times you need to trust the agents and agency leaders, right, to do the right things. If they're representing your company, if they're the face of your company, you need to trust that they're doing the right thing. Yeah, and I think a lot of it is common sense or basic courtesy or basic business etiquette. You don't slam your competitor, right? Oh, that company no good. Oh, their product no good. Yeah. Or you also cannot overpromise your product, right? You don't tell people, oh, if it's not guaranteed, this is a guaranteed product, sure make money. Then of course the company will be scrambling to ask you to take down and I don't know.
I don't cut the commission, right?
Yeah, and commission or rebate and all that. Yeah. So, but in a way, it's also so whatever bad practices that people are doing that you're not catching, if you're doing on social media, then you know, hey, this person needs to be retrained, right? So I think it's helpful for everyone. Yeah, I think, and if they're not on social media, I think that's a very big part of prospecting tool wasted, right? Yeah. So do I get a question on the floor? Is it warmed up? Oh, good. Now we have more hands. Thank you. Not so shy anymore.
My name is Inza Park. I came from Korea, South Korea. I'm very impressive to see all of you because, especially financial sector, when we saw the speaker, normally gentleman, an old man, and very, very experienced person. But when I recognize today, all of you is younger than I. I know because of this session, probably digitalization or the AI, I don't know. But I'd like to ask two things. First of all, what your client percent of the age? Because in Korea, I don't know, Korea is a very, very isolated country or not, but probably Korea is the 11th biggest economic, the side in the world. So probably Korean also representative to the world. So in Korea, people do, the social media, probably younger men. But based on my knowledge, I studied in US and I worked for the Mass Mutual in US and American Express Financial Advisor. I had almost 20 years in financial sector experience. But based on my knowledge, my experience, very important client must be old who has more money. But especially in Korea, also same. But what about your client? You do all of them, all of you are doing the social media. You focus on the marketing, not based on the knowledge. That's my experience. And so I like to ask you, what about your client based on the age? What about your client 20 years old, 30 years old, probably what about percent of your age client? And another thing is, you focus on the marketing, only how to show yourself to audience. But what about how to improve your knowledge based on the financials? You just shared about your concept and knowledge. But especially in financial sector, we have a lot of things to improve. Even I have the PhD in finance, still I'm studying many days, many hours every day. But how to study your financial sector? That's my question.
All right, thank you. So if I understand your question correctly, so number one, possibly based on your social media work or effort, what's the age group of the people that you are able to attract? and your general breakdown of the age group of people if you have. That's the first question, right? The second question is also, as you're sharing all this financial knowledge and financial education, how are you yourself also learning, keeping up with the times and upgrading? Am I right to say that? Yeah. All right. So first question regarding the age of your clients, your social media, people that you attract. Anyone? Start right.
Right. My clientele ranges from age 28 to 60 years old. So it's
60 years old found you from Facebook, is it, or what?
No, it's referral. But through exposure to my social media content.
So what's your majority of the clients?
Majority of clients fall within age about 30 to 40. 30 to 40, yes. Yeah. I think what we can understand from social media is that this is maybe let me talk about this. Before any sale can happen, we need to get people's attention, right? So with their attention, then we have the opportunity to pitch a sale. But what we're realizing that most of our attention now is in a device in our pockets right now. If we look at a 24-hour time frame, our handphone never leaves our radius 5 meters in a 24-hour time frame. So I don't think it's about, I think everyone is on social media right now because we're always living in our phones, right? Living in the apps in our phones. So my client really ranges from all ages, 28 to 60. Maybe majority falls within 30 to 40 years old. And regarding the second question, which is how do we constantly upgrade ourselves? I think to be an advisor, to constantly upgrade yourself is a given. Yeah, so that's something that it's uncompromisable, something that we do daily. What I do is I take on professional courses like Chartered Financial Consultant. Thinking of heading on to the next one, which is CFP, right, and so on. And maybe a networking event. You get to know more people. You get exposure to people like yourself who are 20 years in the industry. I have something to learn from you, right? So bits and pieces of financial knowledge that we can get from people around us can be distilled and simplified into contents that you can share online. Thank you.
Okay, for the first question, I have the various age of the customer. For the Facebook, it's around 20 to 30 years age about the customer. And in Thailand, we also use Line. And for the older customer, they always use Line. For example, hello Monday, hello Tuesday, hello Wednesday, hello Thursday. It's for real. Thai people use the Line to contact the other for the 80 to 60 years about customer, and so I post about my knowledge into the Line also. So in the Facebook, I have the teenage customer who reads my article, who watch my YouTube, and for the next level or the order we use from the Line. So I have the various the age of customer. But by the way, I would like to say that my family, my father and my mother, now he is 56 years old, and my mother 53 years old. And my family, my mother and my father work at the AA for 20 years. And be like the Hall of Fame for the AAA, but they change themselves because I understand you is different between the teenage and elder, right? But my mother always write the article by her understand, and she had a hashtag by herself and post it on Facebook. Also, my father like to take a photo, and he always take a photo and write about the finance in the Facebook. So I think that everyone can use the social media in your own style, yeah. And please change before the world changing. Everyone use social media, so just prepare yourself and change and use it your own way. And for the second question, take a risk.
Two question is, how do you upgrade yourself? Yeah, how do you constantly update yourself?
Upgrade yourself. Okay. At first time when I work at the AA, when I see my customer, I have a lot of PhD and my doctor, and he said that sometimes I look too young. I look too young to talk about the financial planning, but I said to myself, I join the seminar, like for example, AppClick, like the MDLT or the seminar from my company, and I just use my knowledge and express with myself to them, and it changed from it look too young, and it changed to how many baby you have. But no, I'm not married, but it's just yourself to change it, right? But by your own way. Thank you.
All right, so thanks a lot. No, all right. So maybe I'll answer from two perspectives. So firstly, if we are talking about the target audience, right, I think it really depends on what was the objective that the audience used the app, all right? For example, if you are talking about LinkedIn, all right, so of course that's for recruitment in my scenario itself. So for everyone from fresh graduates, which is early 20s, up to about 50 plus years old, all right? So the age group is quite diverse if I'm talking about using this app for the purpose of recruitment. Okay, in Singapore, okay, in fact, the adoption rate of LinkedIn is still not very high compared to Facebook, all right? But people use it to post their resume, right? People use it to get attention from employers, right? We as employers, of course, we use it to do recruitment as well. So age group can be anything from early 20s to about 50 plus years old. If I'm talking about using it for the purpose of sales, all right, which is your main customer base, I think again that depends on the app itself. So, you see, for me personally, I'm above 30 years old, so I don't use so much of Instagram, right? So I use a lot on Facebook, right, for my own social purpose itself. But okay, so if we're talking about the age group itself, below 30 years old, usually they use quite a lot of IG, right? Above 30 years old, right, in general, they use quite a fair bit of Facebook. All right, at least that's for Singapore context. And in terms of educating wise, I think I fully agree with what Jello was mentioning, right? At least for Singapore, there's two main courses that we go, right? When you are financial planners in Singapore. Okay, these two main courses, first one is Chartered Financial Consultant, the other one is Certified Financial Planner. The whole idea about all these courses is that in Singapore context, so MAS, which is our regulatory body itself, is always trying to move us from product-based selling to a needs-based selling. So courses like Chartered Financial Consultant, courses like Certified Financial Planners actually help us quite a fair bit, right? It doesn't just cover in terms of risk management, which is insurance. It covers the other aspects like estate planning, tax planning, retirement planning. So it's actually very, very well diverse. And on the other level, if you're talking about agency management wise, right, I think one of the courses, at least in Singapore, that we go for is something which is organized by LIMRA, right, which is the agency management training course. So that's still the flagship course that we go for, as for most agency leaders in Singapore. I mean, some companies like Great Eastern Singapore, in fact, they make it compulsory, right? Before you become a director in that company, you have to make sure that you actually go through these courses, all right? So, but of course, not all companies are mandating it.
Yeah. So if I may add, I think the mindset is very important, right? If you don't change, the world is changing, so you have to keep up. Sales directly, but I think a lot of times when people meet you, if you're active on social media, it's easy for people to refer, right? How to tell you, oh, Nam is so good, so good, so good. You just tell your friend or your clients can tell the people, oh, my agent is Nam. Wow, you go to her Facebook page, you can see what she is all about. And people will read up on her, people will get impressed, right? So when they meet her or when they meet anybody else, if they have such wonderful presence on social media, okay, when they meet, it's not to consider the deal anymore, right? It's often said it's not to consider the deal anymore. When they meet, it's to confirm the deal. I just want to make sure that when I see you in person, I like you, yeah, who you are online, I'm ready to sign, I'm more or less ready for you to be my agent, right? So if you're not online, then that could be very tricky. So I have to tell, oh, she's very good because this, because that, because this, because that. Then it makes it very hard. I mean, old school, when you go to conferences, you always tell people, right, oh, this is my referral script. How do you tell people how to refer you, and you want to train your clients to refer you to other people. I mean, they are not agents, this is not their full-time job, they are not going to do that, right? But if you just tell your clients, you just tell them, hey, this is my Facebook page, they can come and look up for their own. I think that helps, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And nowadays, customers will type your name in the Google, and they will say a lot of your social media inside it.
Exactly. So people will search for you, or whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, you better control what people see, right? So, any other questions? All right, many hands. Oh, okay, the one with the mic goes first, of course.
I'm aggressive, right? Okay, my name is Cyrus, based in Singapore. I have actually three questions. So first one, probably Kevin already touched a little bit based on that, is when you guys talking about sharing, posting all the information on social media, do you just generally share, or you have some targeting marketing? Right, so because the social media can be very diversified. This is my first question. Second question is, what kind of social media you use the most? There are so many channels like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Line, or all the things. So how do you utilize the social media? And do you also have targeting marketing through different media? That's my second question. Third question is, going through all the social media, how do you actually build your personal brand to make sure that probably you can be a KOL, or you can have such groups that the people will really listen to you, follow your advice, your advice. So this is how we build personal brand, and I would like to ask this question.
Sure.
Three questions. Thank
you.
you.
So if I may understand correctly, first question is whether you use targeted marketing when you share your stuff. The second one is the platforms that you use online, because there are so many channels. And the third one is the personal branding part, right? Why should people listen to you? Why are you the experts in personal finance, right? So anyone? Right. Maybe I start first. All right.
So, okay, on the first question on target marketing itself, right? So I've learned since I first started, again, thanks to Mr. Andrew Chow, right? Okay, so let me probably share from a recruitment perspective and how we position our agencies, because whatever that you post online, all right, are the target markets that will see what you're doing. Okay, so for example, all right, so we do quite a fair bit of retirement and so legacy planning itself. And we post articles every single day, right? So these articles, okay, most of them are related to retirement planning. Most of them are related to legacy planning itself. So it should not be everything. Because if you post everything, people cannot identify, right? So what you're strong about. So example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every day we're on different topics. And generally, you'll be on retirement planning, generally you'll be on legacy planning, but there's more general topics which is not related to financial planning per se, but in terms of like how to have a positive mindset, right? So to answer your question, yes, we do targeted marketing, or we are very careful in terms of what we post. So in our posting, there will never be anything negative, right? I think that's part of the guideline that we should always have, right? In our posting, it should always be targeted at the audience that we want to have. So, right, so that was the first question. Second one is, what apps was it you using, right?
Platforms, right?
So you're talking about on a professional basis or on a personal basis? So it really depends. Of course, on a professional basis, I use quite a fair bit of LinkedIn, right? But that's the purpose of in terms of recruitment. So in fact, okay, if you go to my LinkedIn now, and if someone reply you, that person is not me. All right, because my account is always being managed by my recruitment officers itself. So personally, on a social basis, I don't use LinkedIn. All right, but on a professional basis, I use LinkedIn a lot. And again, that's managed by my recruitment officer. And social life-wise, okay, if you're talking about these kind of events, if you're talking about having dinner with friends, if you're talking about even meeting out candidates, so for me personally, I use a lot on Facebook, right? So for me, being someone who is above 30 years old, right, we use quite a fair bit of Facebook. Okay, last question is on the branding and marketing, right? Yeah. I think let's move on. Okay, I'm not sure about other countries, but in Singapore, okay, I guess that's quite in common with other countries as well. It started with a lot of text. That means you do a lot of text and everything. But people nowadays like things which can move, right? So we move on to a lot like videos to do our branding, to do our marketing itself. And it really depends on how you want to position yourself. So being in the financial services industry, I think it's always good to position yourself as someone who is well recognized, put it this way. So a very good way to do it is when you are speaking. So when I'm speaking, I always like to post on my LinkedIn platform because that positions me very differently from other leaders or from other financial planners itself. Yep. So, and the contents, most of the contents that we post are related to videos. Yep. But the video should not be too long. Okay, 1 or 2 minutes is okay. Anything which is more than 2 minutes, in fact, anything which is more than 1 minute is considered too long already nowadays. Because people are very impatient nowadays. Yep.
I think in the interest of time, do you have anything to add to one question maybe, or if not, that's fine.
So easy. Every time when I use the Facebook, I also post in the IG and also post in the Line. And for the YouTube, I will post every week on the Tuesday and about my YouTube channel. And for the live, I have a Facebook Live. Is post every Thursday on Thursday, and have a time, specific time for project. And about the brand building, in my opinion, just post in the social media for everyone, but work with the target market. For example, the target market will attract by themselves with the content that you write or you post. For example, if I type about the retirement, for sure, for pre-retire will reach them, right? But work with the focus group. For example, I work with my customer who work like a doctor, so I have the referral from the doctor to doctor. So it's just make my branding, and I just show them like my social media and my offline book, or yes, they can say about my branding, and we will trust about me.
Anything to add, Kelvin?
Maybe one short one regarding the platforms. So I mainly do video content, and one advice I got is you should create as little friction as possible for your consumers to consume your content, which is you just put your videos on as many platforms as possible. So I'm mainly based on Facebook and my Facebook page, but I still put my videos on IG, YouTube, and LinkedIn as well. Correct. So I put it on different platforms to capture different markets. Yeah.
IG refers to Instagram for some of you who are wondering what's IG, just in case. Yeah.
And can I do one? And you have to have like a hashtag for yourself. Hashtag, because every hashtag can link every photo, every article of your.
The hashtags, very important on social media. Any question from this side of the floor? Or? Okay, fastest finger first.
Right, hi, I'm David from Malaysia. 3 quick questions. What were the challenges and frustration you faced when you started this social media journey? Right. Second question, how long did it take for you to see the results? And lastly, what one advice would you give to anyone who wishes to embark on this social media journey? Thank you.
Yeah, cool. So the frustrations when you first started, how long did it take for it to gain traction? And one advice.
Right. Maybe I can start first. Frustrations and challenges is that social media takes up a lot of time. Right? Like advisors, we don't make money, we don't get remuneration for doing social media. We get by sitting in front of clients, sign a deal, that's where our commission comes. So if you want to establish a brand, you want to build social media, well, really, you don't know where else you can find the time. Then again, I always take social media as an enhancement or replacement of sales. So what I do is that in the daytime, I'll do my work, right? Run my business as usual, and then maybe wake up early in the morning, or another way would be when I'm commuting from point A to point B while meeting clients. That's where I'll hit my social media, and at night when I come back from work, right? So that, especially when it comes to video content, I recorded how much time it takes to record one video from top to toe, from birth to launch. It's about 10 hours, right? From launching, from deciding what topic you want to roll out, to the 3 main points that you want for the audience to know: the scripting, right? The filming, right? Editing, plus the copywriting, and then the posters. And once you launch it, it's about 10 hours already. Yeah, so it really takes up quite a bit of time. And that is still the topmost challenge that I face even now, right? How long does it take to get traction, right? When I first did my Wi-Fi's and selfies with my clients, so what I do is I get their testimonials, all right, and their photos, Wi-Fi, and I get a permission to post it on Facebook, right? But when I post it on Facebook, I tag them. What I want to do is that I want to leverage on their number of people that's following them as well, all right? I want their users and their friends to see that, hey, this friend has given me a good testimonial, and her friends might be intrigued to find out, hey, what has Jella done? So that took about a couple of months in. I got 1 or 2 walk-in friends whom have lost contact for a while coming to me and say, hey, can you help me with financial planning, right? I mean, that's like the ideal of what most financial planner wants. But videos took a while. I'm in my 3rd year of doing social media. I think patience is a game when it comes to social media. You need time for people to get familiar and get warmed up with you, right? To view 1 or 2 videos, and eventually more and more videos, to get to know that, hey, you are the authority in this business. You're not just like any other advisors. So now I can safely say that my business is 100% powered, but it really took me quite some time to get right here, about 2.5 to 3 years. What was the last question again?
Final advice.
Advice. I would say advice would be to start somewhere small, right, and manageable. Because if you view social media as a whole, it can be quite overwhelming. How to create video? I'm not even comfortable to stand in front of the camera in the first place, right? I don't like to see my own face on screen. It really began from, like what I say, taking selfies, getting used to my own face on selfies, right? And then I built up to taking video testimonials of my clients. So after I got 1 round of testimonials, I stepped up to do video testimonials, and then I had opportunities to speak, right? And I recorded them, and I did seminars. And from there, what I've always been wanting to do is to add value to as many people as possible. So after I did my seminars, I realized that in 2 hours, I can only impact like 30 people. I moved on to video. That's where I realized that I can impact people 24/7 and on unlimited scale. So it all began from small, innocent selfies, and then built up to where videos is today. Hope I answered the question.
Kelvin or now?
Yeah, probably a little bit more. Okay, I think the biggest challenges about moving to social media is really not about the technicalities. I think there's a lot of information that we can use. But I think 2 main issues, okay, either people do not know where to start, or they know where to start but just don't have the discipline to do it. All right. So I think in terms of like starting, there's so many apps out there, all right, but we don't have to be experts in all the apps itself, right? So for me, I started on LinkedIn, and that was the only one which I started on a professional basis, right? And it got to somewhere before I move on to Facebook after that, right? And if you're talking about in terms of like advice or anything, okay, I think even as of today, digital technology or social media is not there to really replace what we are doing now. So we still got to, a lot of people think if you do social media, you don't have to do other traditional way. That's totally not true, right? We can embrace the digital technology, but it should never replace, at least at this point in time, whatever traditional ways we're doing now. And second advice I can give is, like what Jala mentioned, a lot of people give up, all right, along the way, because it's not a short journey. It can be quite a long journey. So be consistent, right, in terms of what we do. So for me, very simple. If you can do it yourself, it's good, all right. So if you cannot do it yourself, okay, then you can pay someone else to do it, all right. So at least you be consistent in whatever you're doing.
For me, the challenge is your consistent your effort to post and share the Facebook. At first time, I opened like the Facebook fan page. I just use the money story, but it's just 12 people like my page, and I turn off my Facebook fan page and go on. And but by the way, I have the lucky because my team talk about the social media again. So I open up again in the non-finance, and now it's that like around 10,000 followers. So it's just never give up about your post and share. Whether your post is no one like you, but I believe that everyone see your post and talk to you directly when they meet up, right? But for my YouTube, my video very different from Jella because I have the team. I have the team to contact with the interviewer, or I have the team for the cut the video, or like the some effect in the video, and I have the team for post in the YouTube. So I have to just use only 1 to 2 hours to be like the MC or the host, but I write the content by myself and my team also. And for my advice, it's just be yourself, because if you want to do with the social media for a long time, just be yourself. For example, if you have the talent to drawing, just draw. And if you have talent to talk about the people or conversation, just type about the conversation with the customer in there. Just be yourself and find what is your strength. And post it on the Facebook, and customer will follow for your strength. And like the gimmick, you have the hashtag also, and hashtag is it should be different for the other. For example, if I type the non-finance, is my hashtag, right? If you click for the non-finance, everything is just only me. So don't use like the typical hashtag. For example, and in my opinion, for example, just finance is every when customers click the finance, you can see the other one, right? But you can like for example, Benjamin Ang, yeah, finance or something like the take a lot well, it's just different from the other people.
Okay, thank you. So you've heard from a few of them. Number one, I think for Kelvin, if you are interested to find out how exactly he does his recruitment on LinkedIn, okay, he actually shared with us very openly on Asia Advisors Network before. So if you go to Asia Advisors Network, you search for Kelvin, he actually shares his 10-step blueprints for recruitment on social media, on LinkedIn specifically. So he tells you exactly how he does it, what he do, how he targets people and all that. So I think that's go to Asia Advisors Network, a bit of advertisement. Go to Asia Advisors Network, search for Kelvin, that's one. I think Kalok mentioned as well, I knew him when we first started doing videos as well. It was very, very time consuming. I mean, a lot of time was taken to do his videos. So for those of you who are trying to figure out how to do it, don't give up. And of course, as you progress in your business, when you have a bit more money, you can hire people to do it, right? You can form a team. Yeah, and I think Nam as well. I think we can learn. It wasn't successful right from the start, right? You close your Facebook page, you mentioned. So for all of us who are trying to do it still, I think the encouragement is to keep going, because social media is not going anywhere else. I mean, people are still going to be on their phones, on social media platforms. Yeah. Good times pass very fast. I'm sorry, I don't have. We are not able to get any more questions due to the time constraints. So if I may, any final word, any final encouragement, any final word of advice from the three of you to our guests here.
Right, I'll start first. So again, I think the only one advice which I can give is, start somewhere, and the key word is really to be consistent, right, in whatever that we're doing, right. So if you can start with once a week, let it be. Okay, after that you can do a bit more, right. But you should always be consistently do it once a week, twice a week, or even every day itself, right. So for me, key is really about the consistency itself. Yep.
Okay, great. The consistency.
If I can add on, when I first started to do social media, my objective was to attract clients instead of hunting them. Attract clients who are ready to buy, look for me. And I thought initially that I can attract, strangers from Facebook, right? That has viewed my content over time and it's comfortable to meet me now. However, that is furthest from the truth, right? I don't get that many. A year, I think I get about 2 to 3 strangers, PM me on social media and say, hey, can you do financial planning for me? I mean, that's great. But what I realized something is that this year I have about, 46 passive referrals that came in, and all these referrals are as a result of social media, but not directly, indirectly, because whenever I do my social media, what I always like to do is I blast it out to my clients. I create a WhatsApp broadcast, ABC clients. Whenever I have a Facebook video, I will send a link to them, and they'll get to see the videos. Now, 95% of my clients don't watch my videos. Right? They confess that they don't watch my videos, but they feel my presence, because every 2 weeks I'll send one video over. They feel my presence, they feel the effort, and I'm always on the top of my mind. And as a result, I get referrals from my existing clients more than I get strangers PM me on Facebook asking me to do financial planning for them. So if you are wanting to do that, maybe that advice I think I prefer the latter better. I prefer getting referrals from my existing base better than getting strangers whom I am not familiar with.
Sure. Yeah. So it's also the presence that being top of the mind of your clients. Yep. Nam?
Okay. Be the first who will talk with the customer with your skill, with the financial planning, and be the best version of you and be different on your social media. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's all the time we have today, unfortunately. Please join me in thanking our panelists here.